Tokyo. A relentless machine, a whirlwind of humanity, exciting, absolutely exhausting, you bet. Even for a seasoned traveler, sometimes the energy of Tokyo can be too much. The neon lights blur, the crowds become overwhelming, the constant noise becomes a dull roar. It's in these moments you realize you need an escape, you crave tranquility. My recent trip to Japan found me in this very predicament. I loved Tokyo, but I needed a break. I yearned for silence. I longed for wide open spaces. I dreamt of natural beauty. So I packed a bag, grabbed my Japan rail pass, and set off on a 7-day journey to rediscover my inner peace. This wasn't about checking off tourist traps. This was about rejuvenation. It was about immersing myself in the heart of Japan, far from the madding crowds. This is the story of my escape. The train journey from Tokyo to Hakone is an experience in itself. As the urban sprawl recedes, it's replaced by breathtaking scenery. Rolling hills give way to towering mountains. Rice paddies shimmer in the sunlight. You can feel the tension leaving your body with each passing mile. Hakone is a place of natural beauty. Volcanic hot springs dot the landscape, offering relaxation and rejuvenation. The air is clean and crisp, a welcome change from the city smog. The moment I stepped off the train, I could feel my mind quieting. My first stop was my ryokan, a traditional Japanese inn. The hospitality was incredible. I was greeted with warm smiles and a steaming cup of green tea. After settling in, I headed straight for the onsen. Slipping into the hot, mineral-rich water was pure bliss. The stress of the city melted away. Dinner was an elaborate affair, each dish a work of art. Waking up in Hakone felt like waking up in another world. The only sounds were the chirping of birds and the gentle rustling of leaves. After a traditional Japanese breakfast, it was time to explore. Lake Ashi, a crater lake formed by Mount Fuji's volcanic activity, was my first destination. The lake is stunning, surrounded by mountains and lush forests. I hopped on a boat and spent the morning cruising across the water, soaking in the scenery. Next, it was on to Hakone Shrine, a Shinto shrine nestled in the forests along the lake's shore. The atmosphere was serene and spiritual. No trip to Hakone is complete without a ride on the Hakone ropeway. The sight of steam billowing from the earth was both mesmerizing and humbling. A short train ride from Hakone lies Kamakura, a coastal town steeped in history and culture. Once the political center of medieval Japan, Kamakura is now a popular destination for its numerous temples, shrines, and the iconic Great Buddha statue. My first stop was Kotoku-in Temple, home to the Great Buddha, or Daibutsu. Standing at over 40 feet tall, this bronze statue is an awe-inspiring sight. The sheer scale of the Buddha is humbling. I spent time just sitting at its base, contemplating its serenity and the passage of time. Next, I wandered through the serene grounds of Hasadera Temple, known for its stunning views of the coastline and its 11-headed cannon statue. The temple is a haven of peace and tranquility, a world away from the hustle and bustle of Tokyo. My final stop in Kamakura was Hokokuji Temple, famous for its beautiful bamboo forest. Walking through the forest, surrounded by towering stalks of bamboo, was a truly magical experience. Enoshima's coastal charms, seaside relaxation, and local delights. From Kamakura, I hopped on a local train headed for Enoshima, a small island connected to the mainland by a bridge. Enoshima is a popular seaside resort town, known for its beaches, shrines, and stunning views of Mount Fuji. As I crossed the bridge onto the island, the fresh sea air filled my lungs. The sound of waves crashing against the shore was music to my ears. I spent the afternoon exploring the island's narrow streets, lined with shops selling local crafts, souvenirs, and fresh seafood. No trip to Enoshima is complete without a visit to Enoshima Shrine, a complex of 3 shrines dedicated to the goddess Benten. The shrines are located at various points on the island, offering stunning views of the coastline and Mount Fuji. After exploring the shrines, I made my way down to the beach. The sand was soft and white, the water a deep blue. As the sun began to set, I treated myself to a delicious dinner of fresh seafood at a local restaurant. Fuji's adventurous embrace bikes, forests, and pagodas. Day 5 of my escape took me to the base of Mount Fuji, Japan's iconic and sacred mountain. While climbing to the summit was tempting, I opted for a more laid-back adventure exploring the Fuji Five Lakes region by bicycle. Renting a bike was easy, and soon I was pedaling along the shores of Lake Kawagoe, the most accessible of the 5 lakes. The views of Mount Fuji reflected in the still waters were breathtaking. The air was fresh and invigorating. I felt a sense of freedom and exhilaration as I rode through the countryside. My cycling adventure took me through picturesque villages, past lush forests, and alongside sparkling lakes. I stopped at a local farm to sample freshly picked strawberries, their sweetness intensified by the volcanic soil. One of the highlights of my day was a visit to Aokigahara Forest, also known as the Sea of Trees. This dense forest at the base of Mount Fuji is shrouded in mystery and legend. As the day drew to a close, I made my way to Chureito Pagoda, a 5-story pagoda offering panoramic views of Mount Fuji and the surrounding landscape. Climbing the pagoda's steps, I was rewarded with an unforgettable sunset. Nikko's spiritual aura shrines and waterfalls. Nikko, located north of Tokyo, was my next destination. This mountainous region is renowned for its natural beauty, hot springs, and stunning examples of Japanese religious architecture, particularly the elaborately decorated Toshogu Shrine. Stepping off the train in Nikko, I was greeted by fresh mountain air and the sound of rushing water. The town itself has a relaxed, almost spiritual atmosphere. It's a place where nature and spirituality intertwine. My first stop was Toshogu Shrine, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a masterpiece of Japanese craftsmanship. The shrine complex is a riot of color and intricate detail. Every surface is adorned with carvings, lacquerwork, and gold leaf. After spending hours marveling at the shrine's beauty, I headed to Kegon Falls, one of Japan's most famous waterfalls. The falls plunge over 250 feet into the valley below, creating a thunderous roar. Surrounded by lush forests, the falls are a sight to behold, their power and beauty both humbling and awe-inspiring. Kawagoe's time. Capsule, stepping back in time. On my final day before returning to Tokyo, I decided to make a detour to Kawagoe, a charming town located just north of the city. Kawagoe is known as Little Edo for its well-preserved Edo era, 1603 to 1868, streetscapes and traditional buildings. Stepping off the train in Kawagoe, it felt like stepping back in time. The streets were lined with traditional wooden buildings, their dark facades adorned with intricate carvings and merchant family crests. The air was filled with the scent of incense and traditional Japanese sweets. I spent the morning wandering through the narrow streets, browsing the shops, selling traditional crafts, antiques, and local delicacies. One of the highlights of my visit to Kawagoe was climbing the Toki no Kane, or Bell of Time Tower, a symbol of the town. Tokyo's call, rejuvenated and ready. As the sun began to set on my 7th day, I found myself back in Tokyo. The familiar sights and sounds of the city, once overwhelming, now held a certain energy. The neon lights seemed a little brighter, the crowds a little more vibrant. My journey had come to an end. I had traded the concrete jungle for bamboo forests, the roar of traffic for the sound of waterfalls. But most importantly, I had found what I was looking for, a renewed sense of peace, a recharged spirit, and a reminder that even in the heart of a bustling metropolis, moments of tranquility and beauty can always be found. Reflections on escape finding balance in contrast. As I write these words, back in the familiar chaos of my Tokyo apartment, I'm filled with a sense of gratitude for the journey I've just taken. It's amazing how a few days away from the city can shift your perspective, clear your mind, and remind you of what's truly important. This wasn't just a trip, it was a reminder that life is about finding balance. It's about embracing the excitement of the city, while also seeking solace in nature's embrace. It's about appreciating the convenience of modern life, while also cherishing the traditions of the past. As I sip my morning green tea, the taste brings back memories of quiet mornings in Hakone, the steam rising like the mist from a mountain hot spring. I'm reminded that tranquility isn't a place, it's a state of mind. And sometimes the best way to find it is to step outside of your comfort zone, explore new horizons, and reconnect with the natural world. So, the next time you find yourself feeling overwhelmed by the city's relentless pace, remember that escape is just a train ride away.